All right, so now we're going to go into the interesting stuff of actually changing things in the database. And we aren't going to really do that much. What we're going to do is we're going to create a table that's like the table that we've been manipulating. We're going to insert, we're going to update, we're going to delete, and then I'm going to show you just a hint at something that's very important later about deletions and updates. So for now, though, here we go. This next part is going to be critical for you, especially if you're going to do the assignments, because you're going to be asked to do some data manipulation in the assignments, and I don't want you to accidentally manipulate someone else's data. Right now, you guys are going to be all in the same house, in the same room. You're in the same database, you're in the same schema. If you start changing the client's database, or client's table, I should say, it's gonna matter. It's gonna matter, right? So let's first of all tell you the most important part. Now, on page 119, they actually had a figure 360. Let's see if I can quickly pull that one up. 360. All right, there he is. All right, so this is how they say you can create a table, or at least put data into another table from the clients. This will not work in ANSI standard SQL unless you already have the table created. So here's the deal. We don't need no access here. We can do this ourselves pretty easily. What you can do is you can go create table and then put your initials, client, whatever the name of the table actually is. Okay, as select asterisk from client. Now, before I run that query, let me just remind you that inside of the schema right now, there's just these three tables. If I go ahead and I run this query, and it was successful in under a second, and then I refresh this, what you'll see is that now we've got GRS client. And I'm going to want you to do something similar to any tables that you're going to have to manipulate in the assignments. Create your own version of it. Now, when you got your own version of it, let's go ahead and see what that did. Obviously, what that did, actually, we can do it here. What that did is it created a table of the same structure as the client table, which we'll see, and there it is, same structure, and it's also got the same data. And it's a pretty cheap and easy way to go ahead and create a table and be able to do some manipulation on it. So I'm going to go select asterisks from GRS client, and I'm going to go, and so there's all of our stuff. So I'm just going to go and create another client by using an insert statement. And I'm copying the column names here to make my life a little bit easier. All right, so the way this is going to go, it's going to be insert into GRS client. Isn't that sweet? There it is. There's all my columns. I want you, no matter what the book says, to put the column names in. Okay, put the column names in. This will make you a superior SQL coder. Much as I don't like using the term code and SQL together, I know at the end of the day that's what you guys want. So put that in there. I think when I look at probably what the book did, let me have a quick peek. Yeah, they did not do that. And this column here, although it's optional, obviously, is this basically it improves the quality of your code. All right, so then it's values. So insert into that table values, and then you obviously got to specify a value. You're going to put in a client number. I'm going to go 999 because I don't think there's any client name 999 there. I'm going to go Spencer Grant as the name of the client. I'm going to put my street in here, which I don't know, 123 Happy Sequel Lane. Okay, that's my street. My city is Burnsville. My state is Minnesota. Zip code, whatever, 55337, sounds about right. Oops, and what else do I need to put in there? Okay, so my balance, I'm going to put 0 for the balance. I'm going to put a credit limit of like a big number, And I'm going to give myself just one of the consultant numbers that are actually in here, which is, I'll just say 35. Okay. So, and you know what? I got some examples coming. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give myself a little bit more room. I'm going to make this thing 990. All right. So there's a nice little insert statement. If I run it, it's going to say the volume's too large. So state. I bet you it didn't like Minnesota. So let's go MN for Minnesota and let's see what that does. All right, so I got myself a nice little insert. If I was to refresh this, which is not the way I'm going to do this in future because, yeah, this is stupid. I'm not doing it this way. I'm going to go to the SQL commands and just do it here. Okay, I'm going to go select asterisk from client. So this is going to get me all the clients. Remember, only the first 10. I'm going to change that thing to, let's say, 500. And so somewhere near the bottom or in here somewhere should be my client. Oh, because I'm looking at client. I was just about to tell you. Looking at client, I need to be looking at GRS client to actually see me. So there I am right there, Spencer Grant. Okay, awesome. So so what I'm doing here is I'm inserting into GRS client. So I'm going to go and I'm going to select from GRS client. And just to make this thing a little bit more poppy, I'm going to go where the client num is greater than the string 9. Actually, let's do greater than or equal to 990 because I got some more examples coming and I want to basically just have that one line show up. All right. If you're following along, just make sure that you've got your client number is 990 and you should be able to see the same kind of stuff. So that's pretty cool. That's an insert statement. It's considered good form to have basically the name of the columns, values, and then this. I obviously didn't need this at all. I could, in theory, have commented that out and go 991 for another guy. I can go run, and that would have worked just great. If I basically reran this statement, we'd see it'd be just fine. But I'll tell you this, let's say I didn't know the credit limit. So I decided I'm not going to put the credit limit in or whatever. All of a sudden now, this is going to start creating some errors. Let's make this 92. So what I did is I took out the credit limit because I, in theory, don't know it. I run it, and now I got some really evil error messages. Or let's imagine now I'm just putting in a string of characters. I don't know what I'm doing, and I've added another thing in here. Let's say 10, for example. Now I'm going to get too many rows, or values. So the thing is, if you put your columns in there, it's self-documenting, and you're telling people basically what is this information. You're not just sitting there. I mean, here just for visual, that's gross. This is better. All right, so cool. So we got ourselves a nice little inserts. So where else do I want to go with this? What I probably want to do is I'm going to show you just a quick thing about what if I was to go and insert this into the client's table. So let me have a quick peek at myself here. I'm going to look at this. So we know that 75 is apparently Sean. Okay, 75 is Sean. So if I go into here and I say, hey, why did you insert into GRS clients 75, and I go, it's going to have no problem. It's going to have no problem. And if I run this now, what we'll see is here's 75 Sean, but here's 75 Grant too. That's bad, right? That's bad. Now 75 doesn't uniquely identify anybody because it could be Grant or Sean. Now, thankfully, in the database, if I tried to run that same query against a real client's table, and I went run, we're going to get a unique constraint violated. And we're getting that because in the client, it knows it's a primary key. So it knows it's actually unique. So we can't just go ahead and throw information in there and violate the primary key if the constraints are turned on. And I believe that's probably a topic for the next chapter. But just so you understand when you're doing DML, there are these little guardians that stop you from corrupting your data. All right, so let's go back to GRS. So that's about as much fun as we can get out of an insert statement. Let's go ahead and I'm going to put this back so it's only looking at me. So that's putting information in. Let's talk about getting information out. I'm going to right click and go to here and get another command thing, and I'm going to delete. Now, if I go delete from, and that's at least in uppercase, delete from GRS client. If I just ran this now, what it would do is it would purge the entire table. And I'll be able to demonstrate that in a few seconds, but I don't want to demonstrate that with this table. So typically with a delete from, you're going to want to put the restriction in here. I'm going to go where the client num is equal to, and let's just pick one of these guys. I'll pick 991. So I'll pick 991, where client number is equal to 991. Again, it's in quotes because character number, client number is a character string. I go run. Great, it deleted it. If I run it again, it said, hey, just so you know, nothing was deleted. All right. Now, if we go and we have a look, we definitely will see that 991 is gone. What happened there? So that was interesting. Let me try that again. I'm going to go select asterisk from client where the client num is greater than or equal to 990. I would have thought this should have produced somebody like the one row. No data found. Huh. All right. Well, I guess that's gone. And I don't have the capacity to think about why. So I'm just going to run that again. I'm going to insert that. And now if I run this, this guy should have me back. Oh, it's GRS client. Oh my God, this is going to be a theme. This is going to be a theme. I'm used to going to client now. I spent the last like 3 days on the client table. So, but it's there. It is. Okay. So now, whoopee, I got duplicates there. Whatever. That's fine. You know what though? Let's be true. Let's go back. Let's put 991 back in there. So here's 991. I'm going to go. So 991's inserted. I should be able to do a nice little select there, and we'll see 991. And now I'm going to go delete 991. So I go delete. It says one row deleted. If I say what's in there, and we'll see that 991 is gone. All right, good, great. So that's a delete. That's about as cool as we want to get with the delete. Honestly, there are cooler things you could be doing with the insert and the delete, but let's just stop that for now. So I decided I would like to have. These are duplicate rows, by the way, so this is going to bother me. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to just purge the whole thing. We're going to get rid of 990 in the GRS client table. So 990 is gone. I'm going to put it back in 990. And that's back in, and I'm going to do a quick little query, and now what I should see is 1. Good deal. All right, so now what I've decided to do is I want to go and I want to make a purchase or whatever. So I basically purchased $1,000 worth of stuff, so I now have a balance of $1,000. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to do an update, and it's basically update the table GRS client, set the balance to $1,000. Where now, if I just did that, it would set all the balances to $1,000. We don't want that. We basically want it where it's 990, basically where it's granted. So where the client num is equal to 990. Okay, we run that update. It did update something. If we go and we have a look, I now have a balance of 1,000. So that's basically it for what the book does. That's all I'm really going to take you guys through. Be careful when you're looking at the examples in the book because, again, they're giving you Access SQL, and some of the stuff I'm noticing isn't really going to work. So specifically the delete. But keep your literals as literals, keep your numerics as numerics. Now, let me show you something here. What do you think would happen if I tried to delete all the clients right now in something that had the full data set? So we go back to here, and this is my command, right? So I'm going to go delete from, not select, delete from clients. So this is going to try and delete from the clients table. We're going to go. It's going to say you can't Oh, well, it's going to say you can't delete it because there's no clients table. So let's go delete from client. It's going to say you can't. Oh, you can delete. All right, and I remember why. So here's the deal. I'm going to pause the video and set the schema up properly. So just 1 second, please. All right, so I fixed something, and I'll show you what I fixed in a second. But first, let me just show how this works. I go delete from clients. Because remember, you got clients, they definitely have work orders, right? So what would happen if you tried to delete from clients? We're going to go. And so, and again, what would happen if you delete from clients? Oh, okay, whatever. Don't delete from clients. There's no table called clients. Delete from client. I'm going to go. That's what I was looking for. Notice it's complaining that work orders foreign key was violated. What's going on? If I deleted from clients and there were already work orders, this little arrow here is connecting this table to this table. If I whacked a client here that had work orders, this poor little guy would be orphaned. He's orphaned because the language is typically parent, child. The primaries in the parent, the foreign keys in the child. So when you delete the primary key, if there are children, they are considered orphaned. This was a huge deal before relational databases. So, so because of that, they basically built in this concept of a constraint. And what we're seeing there is I tried to delete, and it basically said you can't. Now, the SQL that was used in this course to create this these tables didn't actually build in the arrows. I discovered that actually when I well, I won't even tell you how I discovered it, but I discovered it before and I just kind of ignored it. And that was my peril now because I got screwed up on that. So here's the deal. I actually set up something in, and you'll see it out here in the scripts area. And it's called bits set up ANSI. And if we look at bits set up ANSI, you're actually seeing some pretty cool stuff. You're seeing drops, you're seeing creates, you're seeing primary keys being created. You're seeing some inserts, all done the crappy way, by the way, because this is how the book did it. So whatever, I wasn't going to rewrite all of that. And then down here, I've added foreign key constraints. Now, it's debatable how much I'm going to ask you to do this. And in a slightly more advanced course, this is basically assumed. I will be asking students to do this in a level 2. But in the level 1, I just want you to be aware of these things, right? I want you to be aware, just for your own sanity, that these arrows tie the two tables together. So I can't just delete the client's table. Now I'll show you another goofy thing. If I said update clients, set the client num to the same number, right? So if I go ABC and I go, it's again saying, whoa, oh, for goodness sakes. I'm gonna go, and it says, oh, you can't. But now the violation is a unique constraint, and it would take you some time to figure out where that was. But anyway, it won't handle the primary key. Now let's do another thing that's kind of funny. Let's go select asterisk from, and let's pick a fairly easy table to manipulate. I'm going to pick the order line table. Now in the order line table, this asterisk means that these are the only two that have to have values. These other two can be null. So I'm going to insert into the order line table an order line from a non-existent order or a non-existent task ID. And let me just make sure these are characters and those are characters. Okay, so insert into order line. Boy, well, actually, let's do a quick select anyway. I like to have those columns up there. All right, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go insert into order line. And because I'm a decent programmer, I'm going to quickly grab those columns. Almost every interface, by the way, has a way to do this for cheap, right? So I kind of did that a little bit cheaply there rather than typing them, but every interface I know can do this for cheap. Now I said that I don't really know the other two, these last two columns, so I'm just going to leave them off. And the values are going to be ABC, a non-existent order, ABC, a non-existent task. I'm going to go. And what we're seeing here is that the foreign key is violated because the parent isn't found. The last time we found the child, it was going to leave a child. So we're going to delete a parent. and leave the children. That was called orphaned. In this case, this is basically saying you can't create an orphan. You can't basically create something without a parent. All right, so that was a lot of interesting stuff for you to sort of screw around with. The biggest deal in this is to make sure that when you're manipulating data in this schema, create your own table first. And that was basically create table, blah, 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 as. And I tell you what, just because it's important to me, I'm going to go create table, GRS client as, select asterisk from table. Now, a quick thing, this won't work right now because I already got one in there. If you need to get rid of one, you need to get rid of your table, what you would do is you'd go drop table GRS client. That is not in the book because, of course, the book is teaching you access, and access you can just right-click on the table. But this thing would drop it. That drops basically a fancy word for delete. You spend more time with that in the next level class. And this guy would then create it. All right, good deal. Okay, so that's it finally for chapter 3. And we'll see how we're going to be doing chapter 4. And let's just go in here and be done.